Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. This is a good one. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate all the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So, the Sin City Manny Vegas shooting case takes more turns than a motherfucking a racetrack, than a Formula One driver, right? More than Brad Pitt. This case seems to be going every direction, but there's a lot of misdirection. There's a lot of people putting out content and videos saying one thing, or people circulating rumors. And I'm here to break it down and give you guys the real, according to what I've been told by the inner circle, by people that are actually close to the case, by people that actually know what the hell is going on. You know, this case is very intriguing. That is why I'm taking my time to basically give you guys the proper breakdown and rundown of what the hell is going on here. You know, Julie, Sin City Julie, the wife of Manny. I've done several videos talking about why she wasn't charged. There's been a lot of people that agree with me that, you know, it just is what it is. A lot of people are advocating for her to be charged, to be sent to prison just like Manny, to actually look at the death penalty now. That would never happen, and I'm going to tell you why. Albeit that sometimes when people commit crimes and you are in the know, meaning you are part of it, you are associated with it, you knew what time it was when you pulled up, well, then you're just as guilty as Sin City, no pun intended, right? You're just as guilty. But at the same time, there's absolutely no way to actually definitively prove that Sin City Julie knew Manny was going to do exactly what he was going to do at that particular moment. Now, in the streets, we're not stupid. The game is played differently, okay? Usually, if our lady or if a lady's man is going to do something, you pretty much know their get down. You know their style. By the time you're married, you should know what they're capable of, right? It's very rare that someone is hiding the person that they really are and they just pull the wool over your eyes. I'm going to show you a video, a clip. This is a breakdown. This is the actual paperwork to the case, snippets of the paperwork where you can see where Julie made a statement, where Manny made several statements, where the detectives made statements to Manny, right? This is some questioning that went on. And also in the beginning, it's going to show you a look into the mind of Manny Wise, Sin City Manny Wise, and how he truly felt about Julie. Now, whether he was just playing, joking, it was his way of playing, or this is how he really was. Now, me, the way I look at it was, I believe that this man loved his wife and loved his children, but that he loved himself more, meaning he was the center of attention. He was the man. He was a narcissist, right? And this little snippet, this video is going to show you exactly what the hell's going on. So let's get to it, man, in its entirety. Again, if you need to pause to read the paperwork, you know, do what you got to do. But here's some paperwork, exclusive actual paperwork from the interrogation. So let's get to it.
If you want to see me clubbing and partying, you have to follow my girl. Her TikTok is Sin City Julie, and she's always behind the scenes recording me behind me without my approval. She's trying to get views off me all the time. So if you want to see me dancing, most likely you're going to catch me on her lives, because that's all she's got is me.
Oh my God.
Now you can see this is a snippet. Manny admitted that he always carries a firearm when they live stream because of their previous altercations with celebrity status. And in this clip, he's talking about the first incident with him and Finney the Legend. He's also talking about Finney the Legend came up to him and said, "What's up, cuz?" He thought he was reaching in his waistband, so he was spooked. You know, he explained him and his wife live stream, so he always carries a firearm on him, and that he also had a battery going on with Finney in the past, right? Manny and Finney have an ongoing feud since Halloween, and this talks about all that. He said that, you know, people have made finger gestures, and that Manny was actually basically saying he was going to kill him. Man, during the interview, he provided all kinds of things. Julie told detectives that she and her husband, Manny Ruiz, have a YouTube channel called Sincity Family. They conduct live broadcasts. She talked about they pulled up to the Paris Hotel at the casino at approximately 10 p.m., parked their red Corvette in the parking garage, right? Now, nowhere does it say that Julie said anything, but we're going to get to that. Detectives showed Manny the video of the shooting. Manny identified Finney and his girl and himself in the video. The video clearly shows Manny shooting. Manny became frustrated and asked to speak with an attorney, right? Because it wasn't fitting the narrative that he's putting out there. Now, let me say this about Julie. In that clip, Julie said that they pulled up to the hotel in Paris, the parking garage at 10 p.m., parked their red Camaro, her and her husband, and then decided to go on the strip. Now, this was not unusual from what they usually did day to day. See, there's a lot of people that are saying, well, Manny was hunting Finney. Someone directed him in the direction of Finney when Finney went live, exactly where Finney the Legend and Bubbly would be. And there's probably a lot of truth to that. You know, one thing I could say for sure is being a content creator, facts, people play a big hand in misdirecting or misleading people. You know, there's a continual, constant line of people that like to stir the pot, right? People that will be like, hey, you know, you'll be going live, you're playing your music, you're doing your thing, you're in your zone, in your lane, which a lot of the times Finney the Legend was doing, Manny was doing. They'd be in their own zone, and then somebody will pop in, someone that plays both sides, someone that really wasn't loyal or didn't dedicate their time or themselves to either one of these channels other than to continue the drama, right? A lot of drama starters and a lot of people that thrive off that shit. And when they see two individuals going back and forth, it's fun. It's fun to literally sit back in the comfort of your home and watch two grown men and their stupidity argue over something that could be cleaned up over a good conversation, right? And ultimately, this one led to murder. This one led to tragedy. This one led to death. But in doing so, they'll go back and forth and they'll be like, hey, Manny, Finney's talking shit about you, which in the back of your mind, you already know that's happening. But when someone brings it to the surface, you kind of act on it, right? You get upset, and they'll do the same thing to Finney. They'll go over there, hey, Manny mentioned you. He's talking shit about you. And it just stirs the pot and gets people to say more things than they should have, right? And in doing so, man, it creates more division. It creates more controversy. It creates more of a situation that could be prevented if people would just shut the fuck up. Anyways, that's what was going on here. So, yes, there was a situation where Manny could have been told. Someone could have went on his little live and like, hey, Finney's right here, bro. He's in front of the Bellagio. Get him, right? And we already knew that Manny seemed out of himself, seemed to have hit rock bottom when it came to this back and forth, seemed to be at his last straw, the straw that broke Mr. Capone's back. He has seemed to be in a situation where if he's seen Finney, it was on and cracking. We already know prior to the actual video of him running into Finney and Bubbly and doing the shooting that he was searching for his baby. And those are the clips right there. Those are the videos that are going to be his demise, period. Not the video of him doing the actual shooting. Everyone's seen that. But the fact that that man made videos basically claiming that, you know, Las Vegas was his fucking home, that Finney had no right to be there, and that he was looking for Finney and he was going to do everything beyond any measure to catch up with Finney and Bubbly. That right there is the undoing. Now, let's get to Julie. Julie gets a lot of hate, pobrecita. And I say that loosely, right? And I'm going to tell you why. There's a place in my heart for Julie. And it has to do with her being a woman in a situation where she was very dedicated to her husband. And I can say definitively and with faith that that was her husband. They had been married, right? And there's a lot of people, oh, that was just his lady. That was his, it says right there in the paperwork the police paperwork, man, um, that was his wife, Manny Ruiz's wife, right? Now, think about the situation she's in. There's people making threats. They were already making threats to her while her husband and Finney was still alive and Bubbly was still alive. But there's literally people making threats. There's people that she can't be in her own hometown, walking freely, going to Walmart like she used to, because people feel some type of way. People are blaming her. She knew. Whether she knew or not, she's not the one who pulled the trigger. She's not the one that made that ultimate decision. Now, believe me, the detectives do due diligence. They're going to do their job. And they're never, ever going to let a woman or a man or anyone get away with murder if they believe that they can get a conviction. Believe me, that district attorney is trying to make an example. That is why they are charging Manny with the death penalty. And that's facts, right? So what's going on here is a situation where Julie was not charged because based on the evidence that they have, they don't feel that they had enough. Now, there's another story going around. Did Julie flip? Has Julie said, you know what? I'm done. I'm glad to be away from Manny. He was controlling. He talked shit. If you looked at the clip that I just dropped that I showed you, you could see where Manny was full of himself. And whether he was playing or not, he took a shot at Julie, saying that, you know, I guess we'll be on her live. I guess you guys could watch me dance on her live. You know, she's nothing without me. To which she said, oh my God, right? Because she knew his attitude. Whether that was just playing and the way Manny played and had a good time. Again, man, I didn't watch Sin City Family's lives continuously all the time. If they happen to be on, because I'm into watching casino things and slot machine channels, I popped in, you know, but there was nothing where I had any communication with Manny back and forth, or I was dedicated or even subscribed to the channel. That's a fact, right? But I was intrigued by the fact that they walked up and down Fremont Street and they had a good channel. I'm just going to say that. Now, would Julie flip? What's the benefits of her flipping? When I say flipping, that means telling. That means going against Manny. That means she's going to testify in court against Manny. Will she be called to testify if Manny takes it to trial? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's not a shred of doubt in my mind that the district attorney is not going to call Julie to the stand. Okay, she's going to be poked, prodded, and all the shit that happens to people that been involved to some level on a case, right? She's going to be asked a lot of questions. Now, will she be a special witness for the prosecution? Will she be on the prosecution's side going against her own husband? Here's the kicker. You can't make someone testify against their spouse. Okay, you can't force them to testify against their spouse. That's the facts. That's the truth. There's been plenty of situations where they've tried and they can't. Unless she's a willing participant. If she's willing, if she was bamboozled, if she was tricked, and here's some game, Julie, I'm just saying, but here's some knowledge you can't get in college. If she was tricked into believing that she had to and threatened or even given a deal, an under the table deal, look, we will not charge you. We will stay out your way. We will let you get away with whatever you got away with, but you're going to help the prosecution convict your husband. She might have flipped. Now, nowhere in that paperwork, when she was questioned by the detectives, did Julie say anything about the actual murder. In fact, there was another snippet of paperwork that I just could not get a hold of, but I was able to lay my eyes on, where Julie did in fact say that she did not see the shooting. She just heard the sounds, turned around, and took off running. Now, there's a story going around that Julie is the person, one of the people, because we know there was hundreds of calls made. There was hundreds of calls made to the Las Vegas Police Department. People that were innocent bystanders that had that didn't know anything about this case, just heard the shooting and weren't concerned citizens. Finney the Legend's actual children that called because they were watching the live stream and they were very concerned. Pobrecitos, it's imagine only. Can you imagine your parents being gunned down in front of you on a live? Watching it actually happen, I couldn't even fathom it, right? And then you have people that were watching online that were in one camp or the other, meaning people that supported Finney, the Legend, and Bubbly, and then people that supported Manny. A lot of people called in, but there is a rumor going around that Sin City Julie actually made a call to the Las Vegas Police Department, which they have the actual footage, the recording, and Julie saying, my husband just killed 2 people. He just shot 2 people. I don't know what the hell's going on. If that's the case, that will be used in court. And they are going to try to figure out a way. Excuse me, I'm still hungover from 2 days ago. Crown Royal is different. It's built different. I'm built different. They will try to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, beyond reasonable doubt, that Julie knew what was going on. But it's advantageous to her and to them to not charge her based upon she's going to give up information against her husband. Now, has she flipped? We don't know. I don't know. But I'll tell you this, is it in her best benefit too? Probably so, but I wouldn't fucking promote that. You know, I wouldn't say to Julie, go ahead and do that. In fact, if Julie loved Manny the way a lot of people that I talked to said she does, then she's probably too dumb to flip. Excuse my French, Julie, because I know you watch these videos. I wish the best for her and her family, just like I wish the best for Finney the Legend and his family. Unfortunately, not everybody could win. Manny's the ultimate loser. Finney and Bubbly lost a lot too. Look, whether you choose to pick one side or the other, I'm not into that. I'm not into the picking game. Okay, that's not my thing. My thing here is just bringing you facts and keeping you in the loop when it comes to this story. Not letting this story rest, because I believe Finney and Finney the Legend and Bubbly deserve for their story to be told in its entirety and deserve the justice that they rightfully deserve. You know, Manny is a maniac and a monster. Someone who could be good one day and bad the next. I don't feel sorry for him. See, I don't feel sorry for people that commit crime, because when no one felt sorry for me when I committed crime, but even more so than that, we need law. We need people to sit down for a while and think about the shit they've done, because if not, we would be living in a world of chaos worse than it is already. Anarchy. We don't need that, right? So at the end of the day, Manny is facing the death penalty. Manny is going to do probably life without the possibility of parole. The whole question, the circumstantial question that we're asking right here is, did Julie tell on him? Is Julie going to go to court? Is it in Julie's best judgment to tell on Manny? The fact is, I don't promote telling, snitching, giving up the ghost, any of that. But in this case, Julie probably will be forced at some point to say something that's going to incriminate Manny and maybe even possibly herself. Now, if they have that phone call, they are going to be allowed to play that phone call. And Manny's going to be pretty disappointed and heartbroken. But that's the game. See, when you do something thinking it's going to have one effect, usually the reverse happens, right? When it comes to Manny thinking, man, I'm going to shoot the shit out of fucking Finney the Legend and his wife. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And everyone's going to think I'm a gangster and I'm about it. I get comments every day concerning these videos. And there are people like, hey, homie, street justice. And he did what he was supposed to do. And they were talking shit and what que la chingada and whoopty 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 whop. And here's my thing. There's not a lot of those people. There's more people like, burn, baby, burn, right? A lot of people out there searching for Dr. Frankenstein more so than giving Frankenstein a pat on his back. If you know the analogy, then you know what I'm saying is true. In this case, a man and a woman lost their wives, and a dude did it. I don't care if he was getting bullied. I don't care if he was getting shit talked about him. I get a lot of shit talked about me, and I don't go pick up guns and do that. You know what I say? I say, and I just fire back without making threatening gestures and threatening vocal, because I know in this world nowadays people will take things and twist it, and it's a dangerous world, and I don't want something bad to happen to me or my family. Now, if you guys look at the clip, and I'm going to show you guys it again. When Manny was questioned, Manny said to the detectives, verbatim, word for word, that as he was walking down the street, Bubbly started to dance in him and impede his walking. Now, we know that not to be true. Gracias, Manny, for the fairy tale, but Sasuke, you will never be Stephen King, right? He was walking. We could see Bubbly was standing there looking around. And as Manny walked by, he said something, or somebody said something. It was him and Julie. And you could hear Bubbly distinctly say, don't come over here with that bullshit. Meaning, don't come over here and start any problems. We're not trying to do all that, you know? She probably said it in a little bit of a harsher manner and more aggressive than the average woman does. But they have a history here. There was been assaults that have went on. There was that incident that happened in October, you know, in Halloween. So there was still a court date, a June court date. There was still things going on. There was a lot of bubbly bubbles coming to the surface, right? She was not dancing. She looked concerned. I always thought Bubbly in the video, she looked like she was on her toes. She looked like she knew something could possibly happen. She was very aware. Her husband, Finney the Legend, on the other hand, was slipping, lacking, or was not concerned, didn't care. Now, Manny says that as he's walking by, Bubbly's dancing in his face. She confronts him, whether that's what he believed or not. I seen on the camera her walk by, whatever. And that Finney turns around, reaches into his waistband and says, "What's up, cuz?" I did hear "What's up, cuz." He's off camera, so we don't know if he reached into his waistband. I'm sure they're going to have a lot of more footage, right? And at that point, Manny thought that he was reaching for a gun, so Manny pulled out the thing and started letting him have it. Now, in a perfect world, that seems like a perfect alibi, right? But what's not perfect is Manny's videos prior to the incident saying that he's searching and that he was going to fucking put him in, cremate him and kill him and do all this shit. That is premeditation. He goes on to say that Manny reached, and when the detectives asked why did he kill Bubbly, you know, and at this time, Julie's already walking past Manny screaming. You could distinctly hear Julie on her video screaming. So whether she was aware or just it was too much for her, I don't know. She's a good actress. Sign her up for an Oscar, right? But that's the way it went down. My dog's about to do some booty. Hey, better not do no booty scoots. Anyways, Julie's over there walking. Manny said, they asked why he killed Bubbly. He says that when he turned, he seen Bubbly with a shiny black object in her hand, which he believed to be a gun, and he just shot. They asked why he shot her in the back of the head. He said she must have turned. When confronted with the video, that's when he climbed up and said, "I'm going to need a lawyer. I'm going to go ahead and need one of those," right? And then he was provided a lawyer, and all communication between him and the detective ceased to exist. Boom, we're done with the interview. So I'm going to go ahead and let you get to this. I want you guys to listen close to the way Manny treated Julie, because this is the true Manny right here, right? Just watch this.
If you want to see me clubbing and partying, you have to follow my girl. Her TikTok is Sincity Julie, and she's always behind the scenes recording me behind me without my approval. She's trying to get views off me all the time. So if you want to see me dancing, most likely you're going to catch me on her lives, because that's all she's got is me.
Oh my God.
Now, again, this is the some of the paperwork. As you can see, Manny said that Finney said, "What's up, cuz?" and aggressively. So Manny believed Finney was reaching for a firearm, and he shot him in self-defense. And then just this right here, he's talking about, you know, the beef that they had between each other, and basically trying to give a narrative of why he did what he did and some background. Manny and Finney, they did have an ongoing. During the interview, Julie provided YouTube profiles, or actually, this was not Julie. This was actually someone. There's actually some person, a man, that's actually telling on this case. Who could it be? I don't know. Trying to get down to the bottom of that, though. And that one right there is crazy. And then Julie told the detective she and her husband had pulled up. They have a YouTube channel called Sincity Family. They conduct their broadcast from a YouTube from the streets, and that they had pulled up to the Paris that night in their red Chevrolet Camaro. So, you know, that's about all she said. Is there more context to the content? Is there more paperwork? Absolutely. I just couldn't get all of it. That's where he became frustrated when they showed him the video. He needed to speak to an attorney ASAP. Manny was not happy when he seen that video, because that video was very incriminating. Anyway, so the basis of this content is to say, did Julie flip? I guess we're going to find out, right? As of right now, I have not seen anything that's saying that she's testifying or she's willing to testify against Manny, or that, but they are definitely going to use it. If she did make that phone call, if she did initially say, "Hey, my husband just killed 2 people or shot 2 people," that's very incriminating. And Julie, what did you do? All right. Again, we don't know. For all these people that are forgetting that this is a woman with children and they're threatening her and they're not letting her live her life the way that they should out there in the streets, man, give her due process. You know, I understand Bubbly and Finney the legend. There's people that support them that are upset. But man, leave this poor woman alone. Hasn't she went through enough? Everyone here has went through a lot, man. She's not innocent by any means because she went back and forth too. But damn, man, when are people going to stop already? Anyways, with that being said, I hope you guys like the content. I hope you guys stay tuned because I got a whole lot of more. Let's get it. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. Did Julie tell or is she telling? Let me know what you think. Spark some conversation.